minutes after 8 a.m. today. And once again, we're live on Facebook. So go down to our Facebook page, that's 103 FM, and check out this live program in studio and put a face to the voices you're currently hearing here. We got Mr. Alec once again with us. Good morning, Alec.
Good morning. It's great to be with you, Sinclair.
Good. It's raining in parts of our city, eh?
Yeah, definitely. And the traffic proves it. So I was driving here listening to you. I realized you're a good, solid man of faith when you announced that I'd be here by 8.
Well, faith without works is dead, and you came right here on time to give us a great conversation today. And look, there's been many messages that have been coming through on this live program since we've started, and it kind of seems like what we are talking about is only for the wealthy class. And a message came through last week that said, look, Mr. Alec and Zintle, how do I keep up with what you are talking about with the limited finances that I have?
Yeah. So today we're going to go into that a little bit more specifically. But I think to start off with, I'd like to start with a couple of scriptures like we do. And maybe start with a disclaimer. I'm definitely not a qualified dietitian.
Okay.
So this is based on my own personal studies, learnings, and experience. And we hope that it'll be good practical advice. But just to start off with, do you want to read us Genesis 9 verse 3.
Yes, for sure. So Genesis, it's the first book of the Bible, if you didn't know. And I'm reading the Amplified Classic Version. It says, every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. And as I gave you the green vegetables and plants, I give you everything.
Yeah, so I think that's a great place to start. And that's really good biblical advice. So, there's many other verses in the Bible that will then tell you that although everything is permissible, not everything is beneficial. So we need to figure out for ourselves what is beneficial, because everything is permissible. And then I'll read Romans 14 verses 2 and 3. One man's faith permits him to believe he may eat anything, while a weaker one limits his eating to vegetables. Let not him who eats look down on or despise him who abstains, and let not him who abstains criticize and pass judgment on him who eats, for God has accepted and welcomed him. So I think those are two really good scriptures to sort of lay a foundation that you may eat anything, and then backing that up is that whether you choose a carnivore diet or whether you choose a vegan diet is your decision, and that neither of them will withhold you from the grace of the Lord who came to set us free. And he loves us regardless of our dietary habits.
Very good way to start this, because I do have a vegan friend, and he went vegan 4 years ago. And he said to me, look, he did it for health reasons, but he found himself in a place where he was now looking down upon everyone else who was eating meat and carnivorous and stuff. But those scriptures there basically tell us we must not judge one another for what we choose to eat.
Yeah, there's a joke. What does somebody who is a vegan and does CrossFit tell you first?
Mm-hmm. What?
So the joke is, basically everybody, it's the same as with a pilot. How do you know if somebody's a pilot? They tell you.
Yeah. I hear you. I got it.
I think the point there is that, the Lord doesn't discriminate, and from our side we shouldn't either. From my personal experience and the journey that I'm on, I'm trying to limit refined carbohydrates as much as possible, and eat whole foods. So I'm not against eating carbs, but I try to get them as much as possible out of whole foods. And then I'm a huge advocate for increasing your protein intake, and eating as much protein as you can. So, to sort of start the ball rolling on the topic of today, the budget issue. So if we look at things that can really positively impact your health and your budget, is drink more water. So when you drink water, and it's not going to cost you any money.
Yeah.
Skipping a meal is very beneficial for your health, and it's going to save you money. Fasting, intermittent fasting, that's also going to save you money. And then skipping out on snacking. So if you limit your snacking, it has a very healthy, beneficial effect on insulin production and on your health in general. So there's 4 tips before we even get to the actual food that can improve your financial position and your health without you actually having to buy anything or do anything.
That's great advice. And I think I appreciate that you started there, because I mean we have had a very interesting COVID pandemic, and it has left people, cutting out budgets and whatever the case may be. And then you also think to yourself, what do I need to do in order to stay healthy during this time? And those 4 things are like, wow. Water, it's raining now, so grab the water outside, boil it and drink it. Yes.
Yeah, you don't even need to boil rainwater. It's still
nice.
Yeah, it's really good for you. So I think the point there is that in general we eat way too much, too often, and then we're eating the wrong quality of food. So if we think about sources of protein, then immediately you think of sort of fish, meat, animals, and vegetables. And all 3 of them have sources of protein. So cost-effective sources of protein with fish is things like sardines, tuna, and pilchards. And they are really good. A lot of them have got a lot of omega-3 in them as well. So you've got good, healthy fats. And then obviously the protein. And then when you come to the meat and dairy products, you've got milk, you've got Greek yogurt, which is also great because it's got a lot of probiotics in it. And then eggs, which are a complete source of all your amino acids. Pork, I know there's people that avoid pork, but pork is a cost-effective source of meat. And then your cheaper cuts like stewing meat and chuck, and mince meat, which you can then you can bulk it up by adding beans and lentils, which are again vegetable sources of protein. And then organ meat, so things like your liver and heart and kidneys, and whether they are beef or chicken or sheep, makes no difference. They are very cost-effective sources of excellent protein and nutrition.
So if I am, and this is really what happens out there in day and age. Back in high school, we had all of these rugby jocks that would like to bulk up. Now, you get told you got to eat a certain amount of times of day, you got to eat this level of protein, etc., etc., etc. Now you want to make this team, and you go home to your family that might not be doing so well off. And you say to them, in order for me to bulk up, I need this list of food. And it kind of puts that pressure and strain on parents. What are the alternatives, as you are mentioning right now, if I want to bulk up and become this jock of note?
Yeah, well, the standard is to go and buy supplements, and they can be really costly. So, if you need to bulk up, basically what you're saying is you need to put on muscle mass, and for muscle mass you need more protein. So if you can't afford supplements to improve your muscle mass, then just eat more organ meat, eat more liver, eat more eggs, and you'll find in any bodybuilding or bulking up diet, eggs play a crucial role, and people eat large quantities of eggs for that reason. But they're a very cost-effective source. And then the other advantage of eating protein is it satiates you, so you don't feel as hungry. So when you're eating refined carbs, you get a sugar spike and a subsequent crash, and it sort of sets you on this roller coaster of eating more and more frequently. So it's now a proven fact that eating less frequently is beneficial, and restricting your eating to like with intermittent fasting, to a 16-8 window is ideal. And what I find is it's actually very easy to maintain a healthy diet through fasting and intermittent fasting, rather than trying to count calories and weigh your food. And that to me is just too much effort and too much schlep.
So I guess do the natural, and what the Bible, the scripture that we read earlier that says, I give you everything. That's what God is saying to us. He's given us everything, and we just need to choose what we need to eat from the vegetables and stuff that is moving.
Yeah, and before we move off the proteins, the vegetable sources of protein are lentils, peanut butter, beans. You can have a wide variety of dried beans. You need to soak them and prepare them to cook, so it takes a bit of effort, but they most certainly are excellent sources of protein. And then chickpeas, and those are readily available, and they are cost-effective sources of protein. So that sort of covers the protein side. And then the whole food side is where your fruit and vegetables come into it. And there, obviously, according to budget, you can have a greater or a smaller variety. And then obviously you can start growing things yourself. If you've got the space, it doesn't take much to grow vegetables like spinach, for example.
Yes, from the ground. That's what we know. And it's like morojo. Our parents grew up and it was in the backyard.
Yeah.
If you want something, you go to the backyard. There's tomato, there's a potato,
Yes.
and you don't need to go to the shops for it.
Yeah, there's actually a guy, I've forgotten his name now. I think it's somewhere in the Cape Flats. He's making spinach bread. So he's baking bread which has got a high concentration of spinach in it, and it's having a tremendous effect on his community and their health. So he's found a way to introduce the nutrients that you're getting from the spinach into their staple diet, which is bread. So that was quite interesting to me. And I'm sure with a bit of effort you can track him down on Google and see what he's up to.
Yeah, I'd love to try a slice of that, and I'll put on some peanut butter for extra extra protein. I'm learning.
Yeah, and then cauliflower, peas, they all, all your veggies are really good sources of whole nutritious food. So you don't, and you can get really creative with how you prepare them and how you enjoy them and making them more enjoyable. So in general, we want to stay away from the processed, highly processed and refined foods, and eat more natural foods. If your grandmother or your great-grandmother ate it, then you should be eating it too.
We used to eat a lot of sugarcane. Is that anything healthy or beneficial? I'm sliding this in because we're talking nutrition on a budget.
Well, you would have been chewing it and sucking out the sugar, I presume.
Yes.
Not eating all the fiber.
No, not that. That, you know what I mean.
I do, yeah. So, yeah, I think you you would probably still end up getting less sugar in by snacking on a piece of raw sugar cane than most people get by adding sugar into their coffee multiple times a day.
Yep, so I guess I was a healthy young boy growing up snacking on some sugar cane. So chat to us a bit more about the vegetable side. What do we do there? And today we are speaking nutrition on a budget with Mr. Alec, who is from Almighty Warriors. And we are really having an insightful conversation today through all the messages that have come through. And people are saying, how do I keep a balanced diet with the limited resources that I have? And I guess nutrition also plays a part with exercise.
Yeah, most certainly. So, the more you are exercising and the more energy you're expending, the more beneficial it is for your health overall. But you also then need to eat more. So you'll find that people that are really fit and healthy and capable and are also at the same place capable of eating more carbohydrates without any negative side effects. So you really need to, we've said it so many times before, fuel for purpose. So if you understand where you're at and what you're trying to achieve, then your diet that you're consuming should be geared towards helping you attain that purpose. So you spoke earlier about guys that are wanting to put on weight and muscle mass in particular for rugby, for sport. And that means they need to be eating more protein and more often. But that's to achieve a specific outcome. What I'm focusing on a lot is as people age, they suffer from sarcopenia, which is a loss of muscle mass that comes as you age, and it's caused by a lack of physical activity and training and a lack of protein in your diet. So your muscles need to protein, and if you are aging and reducing your protein intake, then it has a very negative impact on your health, because your muscle mass is proportional or plays a direct role on your immune system. So if you want to compromise your immune system, then as you age, reduce your protein intake. So that is definitely what you do not want to be doing. And many people restrict eating protein to once a day. I'm advocating to eat protein with every meal that you have. It's the beneficial effects of that are great. As I mentioned before, it helps you to feel full for longer, so you end up eating less in the process.
We got a message on the Facebook page that's from Rael Flames, who's watching us live right now. And he caught, I think, your opening statement of advice to give. And he says, wait, skipping a meal is beneficial.
Absolutely.
Run us through that real quick.
Okay, so you're wanting to reduce the eating window. So just as an example, instead of eating 3 meals spread out over the duration of the day, skip either breakfast or dinner and eat 2 of them out of the 3, and then for the rest of the time fast. It is very beneficial for you, and obviously cost saving, as we've mentioned too. So I very seldom now eat dinner. So I eat breakfast and lunch. I have my main meal at lunch, and then from there I'm basically fasting until breakfast the next morning, and then twice a week on Mondays and Wednesdays I fast completely. So yeah, and I'm still a couple of kilos overweight. So, the point that I'm making is that we genuinely eat, as a rule, too much. So even, reducing, I fast fully for 2 days a week, and the balance, I eat 2 meals a day, and I've still got room for improvement on weight loss and fat in particular. So, yeah.
As you're saying that, I've just got chills because I went to your training program on the Wednesday, and now you're telling me you out-trained us while you were still fasting. That's a conversation for a whole nother day, but we appreciate that. And yes, I guess we do need to take a lot of what you are saying as we would a normal dietitian, because, I mean, your life speaks for itself. You're a two-time world champ, that is, hey, for your age group, and we won't reveal your age right now.
Yeah, no, this year I'm hitting 54, so
Hey.
I'm stacking them up. I'm now a grandfather and enjoying every minute of it, but I will still try to be as fit and healthy as I possibly can, and I really do enjoy it. And yeah, I've experimented with fasting and training, and I've done 7 hours of training spread out over a 48-hour fasting window without any detrimental effects. So, one of the things that's beneficial about fasting is when you fast, you don't lose muscle mass, whereas you on calorie restrictive diets, you do. So, yeah, the jury's still out on the details, and I mean, if you're interested in that, there's lots of very knowledgeable people that you can go and listen to. I can share those links if that's a request. But most certainly, training in a fasted state is beneficial.
Awesome. I think we had a great conversation today. And for those of you who want to have a re-listen to this, you can do so on the Impact Radio Facebook page. And the topic is nutrition on a budget. And if you want to further connect with Mr. Alec and Almighty Warriors, what's that website once again?
It's almightywarrior.me. And then in addition to all of our content that we've created, there's a lot of links on the YouTube channel there to other knowledgeable people on nutrition and exercise. And yeah, we really encourage people just in general to try and improve their nutrition and get as physically active as they possibly can.
Yes, and the proof is in the pudding. I've been there before. It's definitely something worthwhile.
Notice you haven't been back yet.
I have not been back yet. That's true. I'm still working at getting back.
Awesome.
But one of these days.
We look forward to having you.
Thanks, Mr. Alec, and the team on here on Impact 103.
Impact 103 News Headlines.
SIU demanding Claudia Motsoeneng and others to